have to do the best part of the meeting, which is start off by electing a chair.
I'd like to nominate Ben Stickney for chair of policy committee.
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Have any more nominations?
Do we do that now?
Yep.
Yes, I nominate Rick Butler as chair.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Thank you.
Sorry, I forget whose things. Brooke isn't here. She used to do it all the time.
So we have 2 nominations. Any other nominations? All right. I've never had this happen before, so I think that what we would do is vote on the first nomination and then vote on the second nomination. So, discussion for the nomination of Ben Stickney.
I couldn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Discussion for the nomination of Ben Stickney. No discussion?
Oh, I mean, I just think he's done a really nice job the past year, and it'd be great to do it again.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, all in favor? 3. All opposed? 4. Abstentions? Are you guys abstaining or?
Melvin's
They're not-
Melvin's
I can't vote.
They can't,
I'm not
they're
on the
They're
committee.
not on the board.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
not on the committee.
Yeah. that's
Okay,
committee,
thank you. I
Only
didn't know
committee
that-
members.
Oh, I apologize. At my old job, if you weren't on the committee, you didn't come to the meeting. Glad you're here. Just get used to the new rules. Thank you. All right, great.
Melvin rule.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I go to all committees.
Oh, great, glad to see you, not a problem at all. Okay, so, that motion failed. Any discussion on the nomination of Richard Hart? Okay, all in favor? 4, all opposed? 3, the motion passes. So now I'll turn it over to you and you can do the nomination of a vice chair.
Thank you, Dr. Ambrose. So the next piece of business is an election of a vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Ben Stickney as vice chair.
All right, we got one nomination,
I would like to nominate Timothy Woods.
Timothy Woods.
Okay,
Sorry.
and is there a second for the nomination of Ben Stickney? Leah? And is there a second for the nomination of, thank you, Randy, Timothy Wood? So Rick, you got the chair, I just want to make sure that we,
Thank you. Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, we will proceed with the first vote. All in favor of Ben Stickney?
Got none in there though.
And, sorry about that, Stickney. I will correct that. Those opposed? And any abstentions? That vote is 4-3. And we will carry on for the vote of Timothy Wood. Those in favor? Those opposed? And any abstentions? With that vote being 4-3, Timothy Wood would be the vice chair.
thank you.
Okay, next piece of business is additions, adjustments to the agenda. I don't believe there is any because I wasn't on the committee during that time and I didn't see anything. Does anyone want to make a motion on that? No. Okay. Next piece of business is approving the minutes of June 5th, 2025. We have a motion for that.
Second.
Do we have any
Are you
comments?
taking notes?
I'm just hanging out.
Okay. I think you're supposed to take notes.
I thought that Karen did it from the video.
Oh, okay.
No,
No?
No, not you, Karen Overlock.
no. Steve always did.
Okay, that's going to have to change, because I cannot take minutes and do my work. It's
Okay.
too hard. I have to listen and focus on you all, especially in this committee. So for now, I'll have Karen
I've
note
been
this.
handwriting them because my computer's been glitching.
Yep, but I will have Karen Overlock take the minutes from the video, because it's all recorded. Like, we don't have to have her here. But I will talk with her about that, or someone else at the central office.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm learning a few things. You'll
Yeah.
find out tonight, I've got a couple other questions too.
So, anyone want to say anything, any comments for the minutes? Hearing none, we will vote. All in favor? All those opposed? And abstentions?
Yeah, the two of you were not present, right?
Correct.
I wasn't there either, so.
Correct, 5-2.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we have a slip for the audience with the public?
It was never that formal that I remember.
Okay.
Just a question, Karen, we don't do these votes are not weighted.
Correct.
Okay, all right, so we don't have to worry for
Yeah, oh,
For
great point,
Karen's-
thank you.
Correct, yeah, these are
Yeah.
all
that
one
she
for one
doesn't have
vote.
to know who's
Yeah.
voting for
Thank you, I
what.
didn't
Okay.
even think of that, thank you,
Yeah.
Naomi.
Yeah, there's no weighted votes when it comes to committees.
What I don't know, because I've never watched one of these, because I think sitting through them was enough. I have no idea what you can see on that owl. I don't know if Karen's
It's
gonna
really
be able
hard
to
to
see
hear.
her hand, your hand, she's not gonna have any
Oh,
idea.
thank you
Yeah.
for that feedback, I would not know that.
I don't, like I said, I've never watched one, but
Yeah.
I don't think you can see.
It's hard to hear and you definitely cannot see.
I think
Okay.
only the people near.
Danielle,
near
can you
Yeah.
grab me a pen? So I don't have one with me. Have you been kind of tracking things in general? I can go back and just write.
Right.
I did.
For agenda item 2, that was 502.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, and to your point, the last time I was on this committee was back in 2019, and we rarely had any public when it came to being at these committee meetings, but if they were, they would be welcome to speak. Okay, first action item, BDBA, student representative to the school board. Have a motion?
No.
You,
Discussion.
or,
There's gonna be discussion
Let's
Yeah.
discuss it first.
right.
Usually,
You have to
Steve
have-
would present the reasoning why
Right,
we're
right.
reviewing it, and then we would vote
Discuss.
on,
and then
yeah.
motion to
Yeah.
pass it or not.
I
or
believe
do-
Robert's rules is you have to have the motion before the discussion.
Right, before you have any discussion,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
I
Right.
think that's the way we always did it. I think, Ben, you recall?
Yeah, we would have just Steve kind of weigh in, he would give an overview, if he had a recommendation, he would give it, and then to us as members, and then one of us would make a motion and things would proceed.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine, I can do that. I have a couple of questions about this for the future, but I'll, just for the purpose of keeping the meeting going, what's in the packet tonight are things that are really just updates from the New Hampshire School Boards Association. And so, I'm sorry, the Maine School Boards Association, so anytime I say New Hampshire, just
where you are.
SAU, RSU, MSAD, whatever, I'm learning all the acronyms. No, the School Boards Association gave some samples, and most of these policies this evening are school board related policies, right, your business end. In the future, the way that these will be presented is I'm going to have one of the folks at the central office take the existing policy and cross out what would be deleted and put in bold what would be added, so that you can just see it in real time, what it would look like in the future if you made all the changes that were proposed. I met with Ben, and the gist of the situation is that these are board level policies, so what I normally do is have the administrative team review administrative policies to give you ideas and feedback, and then I bring their questions to the School Boards Association or the lawyer, so that I have answers to those questions before it comes to you, because they're the people that have to do it every day. So the principals have to implement the policies, I want them to see them and to give you feedback and thoughts before it hits the ground running. They see things that we don't see. And so I try to get all of those questions and processes outlined. This one came up a little bit quick, so we decided to do it the way it's always been done, but before you vote on these, does anyone have any thoughts or feedback about whether or not that would be okay for me to load? I call it loading the policy. You take the existing policy, you cross out what could be deleted based on the feedback from the sample policy, and then you put in bold what would be added so that you can see it in one simple document.
Yeah.
Is everyone good with that?
Yeah.
I think that's what you've done in the past.
Yeah, that's what,
I think, well, usually if we're changing it, it comes back
Right.
with the edits.
With the,
I think the only
Strike
issue
out.
with that is that sometimes we just adopt the new one, or we forego it
We just watch
altogether,
it,
so
yeah.
being able to see them both, I think is.
Yes, and what that would look like in this model is if I've had that happen too, so the pre-existing policy in that scenario just is completely lined out. It's still there, you can still read it, but it just has a line through it. So it doesn't black it out, it just puts a line through it so that you can see what it was before, and then the new policy is just loaded underneath in bold. So you see it all, it's very similar, you'll see it all in one document. Where it gets really helpful is when it's kind of like, just like 8 or 10 words got changed, but they have significant meaning. We all know that buts, ands, and therefore tos, and how withs, there's legal language that can get, sometimes just a subtle change can make a big difference, and when it's embedded in the policy in bold, you see exactly where it is, which gives it context and meaning. It makes it cleaner and more transparent for the public.
So would we get a line policy to consider and then the sample as, untouched from MSBA or Drumwoods and whoever would be providing it?
We can do that either way. Usually what we've done is the recommended changes just get added to the policy. I don't usually give people, I just don't want you to have to read too many documents. If everything that's in the change is in the bold part, then you wouldn't need to read it a second time, but anyone's welcome to have the NHSBA sample policy, or I'm sorry, the MSMA sample policy, or Drummond and Woodson's policy separately, but it would be, you just basically be reading the same document again, because what we do is we bend the existing policy to fit the new one so that you can see what was what the best part is you see what's deleted. Right, the part that's added is usually pretty obvious. This is what I'll do, for the next meeting I'll do one up the way it's easier for me to show it to you, so I'll do them up, and then I'll also have the sample policy with it so that you can have it for reference just for the first round, right? The goal is to be as clear and transparent to the public on the night that the board adopts the policy as possible. When they can see what's been deleted and what's been added, it's a lot easier for folks to understand what's being changed. But for now, you just have them the way you've always had them, the original and then the sample. And so this first one, student representative to the school board, I thought was pretty straight ahead. It doesn't have a lot of changes, yeah.
The sample has nothing to do with student.
The sample is board member qualifications.
Yeah, it's a very strange,
Is there a mistake?
no,
No.
BBVA, but I don't know why they
So
are.
I would suggest that we keep ours marked
Right.
as red.
Or table it to the next meeting so I can figure out what happened?
Or is BBVA supposed to be something entirely different?
Yeah, let me check.
Sorry, I missed code.
Yeah, maybe there's a secret code.
I know in the past, when I was on the school board in 2019, these were just examples, and
Right.
you could cut and paste, if there was a good idea here, we could adopt it in our previously written policy.
Right.
There's nothing that says we have to go by what,
Right.
MSMA or Drummond and Woodson, because when the last time I was on the school board, we would look at policies from other districts too. So, we could always look at what they did, and it may be a better approach than what we've done too, so.
So the only thing that I say about that is be careful. Because policies are designed to be layman's and understanding, ground level, people working in the school can read it and understand how to follow the law. So policies are based generally on the law, right? And our goal is compliance for legal purposes. And less is more with policies. So the more policies there are, the easier it is to make a mistake. Because the reality is that when there isn't a policy, administrative decision rules. So it's the same thing with contract language for collective bargaining agreements. If they get too dense and too deep, then it becomes easier to make a mistake. And you're more stuck in situations. I have never and do not recommend that a board use other districts' policies because they're based on their local conditions. I recommend that you look at the MSMA and the Drummond and Woodson advice, and I recommend strongly that you follow it as a group, because they are the legal experts that are here to help us to avoid litigation. That's what they do for a living. That doesn't mean that you can't have local conditions that might play in. So for example, I did a situation today, I went to a bus stop. I got out the policy, I drove to the bus stop with Brian Race, I looked at the corner, I looked at the location of the bus stop, I looked at the policy, and I looked at the parent's complaint, and it was a violation of the policy to do what the parent was asking for, but there was some legitimacy to their request. Would I change the whole policy for us based on that one situation? No. But do I think that some districts might adopt something in their transportation policy because of a local condition? Sure. Like if you have a highway
Right.
that's in an area. You might have a local condition. It doesn't mean that we never do it. I will say that if we want to adjust or amend policies based on local conditions, I always check with our attorney or the Maine School Management Association to make sure that the amendment, adjustment, or change is congruent with law and isn't gonna get us stuck. There's lots of stuff I'd like to do that isn't a good idea to do. So it's just a balance of it's a balance of that local control piece with being congruent with law, which I just wanna caution everyone to be very careful about policy work because there is a strong legal undertone to policy work, which is why I typically recommend that you follow the MSMA or our legal counsel's advice. And if there's a huge problem, I've even brought a lawyer to a policy meeting where they've said, like, this is what will happen. Because really, it's up to you. Like, if you want to take something on and get into a battle about it, as long as the board approves that, then I take that on for you, right? That's my job, is to do the will of the group, right? So what I don't want to do is I want you to always have a clear understanding of the decision that you've made and the implications that it could have. I am way less risk averse than some people. I'm pretty comfortable with some risks. But that doesn't mean that I do them willy-nilly either. It depends on the kids. If the risk supports the kids, then I'm more likely to take the risk. Just like the bus thing today. We moved the stop down the road. I don't want these kids walking down that road. But really, the only way that we could do it was to put the bus stop a little further down the road. But previously, they were walking all the way up around a corner, a blind corner, and I was like, no, I'm not. Do you see what I mean? It's like you gotta balance all that out.
I move that we table this policy until our next meeting to give you time to determine why the sample differs so much, whether there's a coding error, and if so, whether there is existing guidance that would reflect our student representative policy.
Thank you.
I would second.
Can I actually just ask, it feels like a good time of the year to, I feel like our student representatives have been sort of vastly underutilized in my last year on the board. I just want to note, they will have seats at the table of all board meetings and will be encouraged to share their viewpoints in the same manner as elected board members. I feel like they have a lot more to offer than, I love the reports about the sports and the activities and all the other things, but I want to know what they think about what we're talking about. I mean, anyway, my point is that I think as we're starting the school year, I would like to maybe make a specific mention of that to them tonight and say, like, thank you for coming, thank you for being here, we value your input and encourage you to ask questions, raise your hand as you are,
Sure.
interested.
So I think that's a discussion for the board. And I think that there is a mistake. I apologize, I didn't know this. There's something wrong because the policy is supposed to be student representatives to the school board, but when you go into the document, it does say board member qualifications, but it has the same member code. So if I could,
It looks like BB, AB is student rep, when I've looked at other schools. I don't know how significant and important the coding is, but that looks to be.
It should be all uniform in that
And one
aspect.
school has it as BB, ABB.
We had at least one miscode
That's school board self-evaluation.
just come before us, and I think we just resolved it. But in this case, it would be good to at least compare our policy to a sample that reflects the subject of our policy rather than something entirely.
I agree. And I think that's a great time when we do that to have the conversation. I'll do a little homework on that. So a student rep, in my past experience, they don't vote.
No,
But
I
what
don't
you want
think
is
they
for them
need
to
to
have
vote.
more voice.
I want them to not hesitate, like when we were discussing moving all the stuff around, like they have a perspective that we do not, and that is their purpose. In my opinion, that is their purpose on the board, is to
Agreed.
bring that.
Ones in the past.
Were you on the board when Finn was?
No, I know him and I watched several meetings and I feel like he was
He's
sort of an example of.
He's the exemplary
Yeah,
student rep.
right, right.
Sean
And then-
and John Owen were really good too. They spoke
And then before them, Patrick White and Aaron Smeltzer came to board meetings, they also came to committee meetings.
Yeah. Or just sort of, just making the statement that like, it's okay to raise your hand, it's okay to, participate. You don't just have to sit here to put it on your college application.
I'm sure it's daunting, so I think
Right.
checking in with them, like making them
Yeah.
make sure that they feel really welcome speaking.
That's a really good point, thank you.
So where do we stand with this?
Ben made a motion to table, do we have a second?
Second.
Yes, second. All in favor?
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. I'll get to work on that this week.
It was Ben and who, I'm sorry.
Essential.
I second it.
We,
Yeah.
so that motion passed 7-0. Okay, next action item, BEA, school board members' use of email and other electronic communication.
It's pretty straight ahead. I mean, you're not supposed to, it's school. To summarize this topic, the school district owns the emails. If you put it in writing, it's subject to FOIA request. And I always tell people, if you put it in writing or you use your technology for personal reasons, assume that it will end up on the front page of the newspaper. Anything that you put in writing could end up on the front page of the newspaper. It's that simple. If you use that simple rule, it really helps. That's why people often get emails that say, I'll call you. Because you don't know what the interpretation is once it's in writing. The context gets lost. Statements can be taken out of context. It's dangerous, right? Especially when things are deep.
Yeah.
You just want to be, relationships are important, and talking in tone is way better than putting it in writing. Yeah. Oh, Rick's technically the chair, but I'm assisting Rick. I'm helping out Rick.
Why are we reviewing this policy?
It's in the sequence that Ben gave you when I met him.
So it's just up for review?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because all policies have to be at least reviewed every 3 years at a minimum, so even if we say that this thing is fine and we, say it's good,
red.
we just mark it red, then we just get to put a new review date on it, and it's good for another 3 years, so,
Great question.
yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we mark policy BEA as red.
Second.
Second.
Sounds good.
Sound good? All right.
Are there any changes that should be flagged
Uh,
between the two policies?
This is where I'm used to having it the other way.
Correct.
So,
No.
I don't think so, but again, I'm not used to doing this way. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you read it, did you see any?
I did too.
The only thing, paragraph B is that we just expand upon it a little bit, but the rest of it is
Okay, so,
exactly the same.
The gist is the same, they just detail what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
so our existing policy had a little more detail than the
A
previous.
little bit more robust than the sample policy.
Yep.
All right, so, all in favor? All opposed? Abstentions? 7-0. Okay, next action item is BEB, board members' use of social media. I'm assuming this is the same thing where this was just an outdated policy that need to get reviewed?
Yeah, Ben and I just picked the stuff in the Bs that were in the rotation for this year to get us started.
And on this policy, I did have some minor changes or recommendations for changes, just because we're catching up with the times. For example, in the very first paragraph, it talks about Twitter. Twitter doesn't exist anymore. We could basically just say X in quotation marks, say formerly Twitter.
Yep.
And then in that same sentence, it talks about, it says, and other digital media such as blogs and personal websites. I think we should probably add, or I recommend that we add the word vlog on there, video blogs as well, because that seems to be more of a use in today's day and age with YouTube and TikTok, more than people going and actually using blogs. I don't know many people that use blogs anymore. So, those are my two.
Were you recommending add vlog?
Correct, add blog, correct.
And help me to understand, did you use, usually there'd be a motion for the change?
Correct, that's the motion I'm making is those two.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, those two.
So change X to formerly Twitter,
Yep,
and then add vlog after blog.
correct.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, Randy?
Any other discussion on that motion?
I'm not on the committee, but can I ask a question? Wouldn't it be better to use a more generic term like digital media or?
It does say digital media on there,
Does say that.
yeah. It was just giving examples of digital media on there.
Okay.
And I guess I thought it was kind of funny, and maybe it shows how dated this is, that there's quotation marks around the word message.
Yes.
Message each other,
Yes.
like we're like secret agents, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we could maybe eliminate those
Kind of
quotation
World
marks.
Wide Web.
On the World Wide Web.
Any other discussion on that motion?
So are you suggesting that as an amendment to Rick's
Yeah.
motion?
Yeah,
So,
can I make that friendly amendment?
yeah, I don't have any. So was that to take out that word, or?
No, just the quotation marks.
Oh, take out the quotations of message, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have no problem adding that to my original motion.
I think it's like just the language of, you wouldn't typically say, when you message someone, because that's like an odd vernacular. So I understand the quote marks on that, because it's like, it's not normal language.
I don't really care one way or another,
Yeah.
so whatever.
Well, there was a friendly amendment,
Yep.
and you agreed to it.
I will withdraw the friendly amendment.
Okay, very good. Yes, Ben?
I feel like the substance of it is really covered by the kind of the looseness of the existing language. So other digital media encompasses digital media, and message encompasses any form, whether you're, so I feel like the language already, even if it doesn't explicitly say it, covers the use cases that you're talking about. So I don't even know that it's necessary to make that change.
Yes.
So that was gonna be my suggestion, is to just like leave it at social media and other digital media. I think it's ever changing, and do we need to list out, you know, who
So-
changes the name of
Yeah.
what to today and,
So would you recommend that we strike out such as blogs and personal websites out of that policy then?
I would just say, and other digital media, because it sort of, back to the original point about, you know, more is sometimes too much.
So what I would recommend that you do is vote on Rick's amendment, and then Rachel, you could make another
Okay.
amendment. Do you know, just because
Yeah.
we're getting a little muddy, and
Yeah.
I really don't know if I've got these notes right now. I'm trying, but we had a friendly amendment, then we had a friendly amendment withdrawn. Let's vote on Rick's amendment of the vlog, after blog, and X.
Well, I'll withdraw that. So my motion will just say, just replace the word, or actually add, we'll withdraw the word Twitter and just put X.
Okay.
And then put in parentheses formerly Twitter.
Why don't you
I don't
remove
think we need
everything after social media up
Yeah.
to and other digital media, that entire, including but not limited to,
Yes.
and then put a period at the end of digital media. That way, no matter what it changes to, what names they call it, you know, who buys it, who sells
Yeah.
it.
So you're
Right.
talking about the first sentence.
Yeah.
Could you say it one more time, how we would
So
read?
I would read it as the board recognizes that many, if not most, of its members are active users of social media and other digital media. This board, and then period.
And then just go on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
We all
That
know
way,
what
we
it
don't
is now.
outdate our policy if something changes.
I
Thank
move that
you.
we adopt that suggestion.
Okay, so,
I second it.
I'll withdraw mine and I'll,
okay, so now we've got Ben, goodness, this is gonna be, Karen's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Ben and Naomi. I'm buying lunch tomorrow, Karen, I'm telling you now. Ben and Naomi, so Rick withdrew.
yeah.
Okay. And we've got a motion by Ben and Naomi to reduce all of the language after
Social media.
Media.
social media. And then, what was the addition, Karen?
None.
None. It's basically that whole comma piece.
Just say social media, period.
No,
Social media and other
and
digital
other
media.
digital media.
That's what I need.
So you gotta cross out everything between including and the Twitter and everything after
After.
digital media.
Thank you for your patience, everyone, I'm getting the rhythm of this now. All right, Rick, do you wanna
Yeah.
call for the?
Just one other comment, under cross-reference, the BBAA should have and responsibility after it. And the last one, KEB, cross out public.
Okay.
KEB, you said?
Yes, cross out public.
Cross out public,
Yeah.
okay.
What was the first you said, Dan?
The first one is BDAA, that it's titled Board Member Authority and Responsibility.
Thank you. And the second? What was the second?
Was the KEB,
Okay.
it's just titled Complaints
Got it.
about School Personnel. Oops.
Oh, we only made it to
I-
the first paragraph.
I can take care of those two technical edits
Right,
later.
without a motion.
I don't think I need a motion for those,
Yeah.
thank you, Danny.
Yeah,
That's
those
really
are just,
helpful.
that's just housekeeping on that end.
Yeah.
Okay, so to Ben's motion, all in favor?
Okay, great.
All opposed? Abstentions? 7-0.
Thank you. Now, Rachel, you had another one that you wanted?
Nope.
Did we get it?
No,
That was
no,
it.
Okay,
we
thank
covered
you.
it all in
Thank
there.
you. Just wanted to circle back.
Okay, so the next item is action item D, policy BEC.
Oh, wait, we didn't adopt the policy though.
Oh,
We
you're
only
right.
did the amendment, so
Oh,
now the
you're right.
policy, just for technical reasons,
Oh, you're
someone
right.
should motion and second to
For
adopt the
first
policy.
reading,
Yep,
someone want to make a motion?
I move that we send policy BEB to the board for first read. Second.
With changes.
With the changes, yes, thank you.
And Naomi seconded that.
I think Timothy
Timothy
did.
did.
Oh, Timothy did, my
I
mistake.
threw in the 2 cents worth.
Okay. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? 7-0. Thank you for keeping me honest there.
oh, thanks for the help, guys, I'm getting it.
Okay, so next item is action item D, policy BEC, executive sessions.
My comments on this are that I would recommend that you adopt, any updates that are in there. It's pretty straight ahead, and it's a very legal topic, so I don't,
But the
I,
sample's big.
Sample's short.
yeah, it's very short.
Let's see, the sample, where are you talking about?
It looks like the, original.
On the samples, you can't tell
You
me.
can't, will it show on their site?
Yeah, the original's from, it was reviewed October 5th of 2023. So it looks like they've gone with what I was saying earlier, sometimes they change things to be less is more. Rick, I think you have a question to your right.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know, I read through it and I, like, most of the time I would prefer to go with the short and sweet, but I feel like the policy that we have now kind of lends itself to the gravity of the situation. And I think I would prefer to keep that one because, I mean, just reading that very short blurb is kind of like, okay, so whatever, it's an executive session. You read this and you go, okay, this is an executive session. So I would prefer to keep ours.
Thank you.
Rachel?
I would agree with that. I think that as someone, you know, if I'm a parent who's not on the board and doesn't understand what happens in executive session, and I wanna say, well, why are there so many damn executive sessions? Like, what are we doing in there? And
Yeah.
this, again,
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
the meat of what happens in there,
Yes.
so I would agree to keep ours.
Ben?
As far as anyone knows, there haven't been any changes to the actual law, MRS 401, that would change the detailing that we have in our current policy. Are there?
Thank you, Ben. I don't know the definite answer to that, so I was just going to suggest that if we move to keep our current BEC policy, that I would send it to Kathleen for her to take a scan of it to make sure that nothing has changed prior to it going to the board for first read. Right, so if we wanna have more, if we're gonna go with more, which is totally fine, then we just wanna make sure that the more is accurate. And I can't speak to, it's very technical, so I prefer to have an attorney give us an opinion on that. It's one of the things that can really bind the board, is when you go into executive session. So what I would recommend is that it goes to first read unless the attorney kicks it back to the committee. Right, if the attorney says we're good, it goes on. If she doesn't, then it comes back for another round in this committee. But it's probably fine. I mean, I don't see anything in there, Ben, that causes me anxiety, but I just would like an official check.
Anyone would like to make an official motion on that?
Yeah, tell me what to say. I make a motion that we bring our policy BEC to the board. No, we don't have to bring it to the board, we said we mark it as reviewed,
Well,
right?
he said for first.
Yeah, no, you're right, I'm not used to that. So what your process has been is that the policy, unless there's a change, the policy committee just marks it as reviewed.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if there's a change, it goes to the board.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. I'll run it by legal, make sure it's good. I'll bring it back to you on the next agenda just to give you an update. And then we'll mark it as good.
So
at
do you
the
need a
next
motion
agenda.
to table?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
just
Yeah,
motion
so
to
I'll make a
table
motion to
for-
table
yeah, thanks.
BEC until the next meeting.
Second.
Thanks.
All in favor? All opposed? Abstention? That's 7-0.
And then if there is no changes, Tom, it will just be marked as read at the next meeting, is that correct?
Yeah, I'll bring it back to the next, I think I should give a public report out that there, whether or not there's anything that needs to be changed.
Sure.
So that the public knows. And then, it will go as marked, if there are no changes, then the committee will just vote to mark it as read. And if, there are changes, then it'll go to the board.
Sure,
But you'll know in advance before the meeting.
thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay. Next action item is policy BG, school board policies.
Sorry, it's kind of funny to have a policy
Policy
meeting
about
about policies.
No.
I think scanning this, it's hard for me to do this though in the format that it's in because I'm used to seeing what's been cut out or added. Did anyone catch anything?
Yeah,
Randy.
just fairly simple, and on the new one, it's really, I don't know how we count these paragraphs. How about going second one from the bottom?
Oh, thanks,
Okay,
yep. I
The
can do
new
that.
policy, the new one, MSMA, second one from the bottom of page 1. It says, "It is the board's intent." There's 2 of them that start that way, so I want to be careful. Okay, the board's intent, policy set goals, and provide direction and guidance. That we don't do details here. We're more, the original ones talks about setting a goal. You said earlier, it's the principals and the building, the administrators who
Yeah.
make it work. We're
Yeah.
more global, so I think that, and provide direction and guidance. We have been, I have heard before on the board where something was suggested, and one argument against that was, well, what about this? Well, what, other things that we weren't really meant to solve at this table here, but that stopped the entire discussion, the discussion of what it was. So that's why I like the original one.
Okay.
At least for that part of it.
Yeah, sure. So are you making a motion?
I have something else, but I'm not sure. How should we do that?
Well, I think that if
I would make a motion that we keep the existing policy, mark it ready.
okay,
Like I said, I do have a further
Right.
potential change, but
okay.
just so we can go, let's pick out 1 or 2.
So your
Which one first?
motion would be to consider the existing policy over the sample policy.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second on that?
Second.
Right. All in favor?
Well, I think you should have discussion.
Oh, yes.
Just in case someone on either side.
Well, yeah,
Just wanna
well-
make sure everyone has a chance.
Well, yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
basically on the motion, and then we could discuss it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
But,
I just wanna
yeah,
make
they
sure
would-
that we don't skip the
Yeah.
discussion step.
Would have any questions on that?
I don't have a question, I just have like an observation I made, when I was reading it. The sample sounds like policy, what policy is, whereas our current policy sounds like, it should be BGR, like it's the procedure. So they each have a different sort of tone to them, and I don't know if that matters. Doesn't really matter to me all that much, it's just that came to mind. Our policy is much more procedural than the being in the ether out there. That's just an observation, I don't necessarily.
The 2 of them are very different. I mean, it really gets into, Randy brought up a really valid point, in my opinion, for the district, which is, Randy, I don't wanna speak for you, so if I say this the wrong way, feel free to correct me because I'm summarizing. But there's a balance between the relationship of the board and the school leadership, that it kind of lives in policy, right? Like a brakes and a gas piece. It's like goal setting, when we talked, I think it was Rachel who said, okay, we set some goals, but what is that, what are the steps? Well, when you set a policy, what are the steps? So the technical terminology is the difference between a policy and a procedure, right? So you may set a policy as a group that this is what we do, and then the administrators may have a procedure, and sometimes policies actually have a procedure as a second component of the policy, because it needs to be even clearer, and a perfect example is the A policies. There's a lot of them, right? And they're complicated, and they're based on very complex laws, and if they're not followed appropriately, they really can lead to some very significant problems. So I think that there are times when more is necessary, to be super specific. But Randy, I don't know personally, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just, as a practitioner and a leader, setting the goals is the role of the board, right? So really the role of the board is to set a budget, goals, hire a superintendent, and make policies that help people to do things that are congruent with law.
When we go about hiring the superintendent, we'll have the questions, but we don't write the questions.
Right.
We say, we're hiring somebody, let's get the questions.
Right.
The board doesn't say, well, then let's ask this, ask that, and put it all in policy. My example was a lot simpler. The board decides the kids are having a 45-minute lunch, that's it. Principals figure where
That's
to
a
put it
perfect
in the
example.
schedule. We don't,
Yeah.
and if someone said, well, Randy, that's no good, where are they gonna find? It's not up to me.
Right.
Our thing here is to set the goal, 45-minute lunch.
Yep.
How it gets implemented is not our
Yep.
thing.
Or we have X amount of money for A, and then we figure out how to use X amount of money for A to get the job done best we can.
And
Now, our BG is old enough, if I had to hazard a guess, since we don't have a BGR, which is the related procedure, my guess is that they just decided at some point to put the procedural language in there, wrap it all in one and be done with it.
Yes, a few years ago, they combined the two.
Thank you, that's a helpful thing.
I can't remember what the other code was, but they did combine into one.
Yeah, something else?
Yeah.
Other discussion?
Oh, wait, I think, did we vote on are we adopting, are we staying with the
well, that's the motion on the table right now.
Yeah, Randy, before you do another one, I just wanted to make sure we cleared up the first motion so we don't get into a procedural. I'm trying to take notes.
So any further discussion on the original motion?
But
Which was,
I don't,
To keep the original.
To keep the original policy, that was his motion.
but Randy, is there other motion, like, is it to do with this
It's
policy?
there's a change, yeah.
There's some changes he wants to do
And
inside
it
the
needs
policy.
to happen within this
within this
discussion.
discussion.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
like I said, I think we
Right.
always had a discussion, and then we
Yeah,
made the
we
motion to
can't
do it, so.
vote to pass something and then.
Well, no,
That's what I was
no,
trying to-
he's basically saying, do you want to take this policy or this policy? That's what his motion is.
No.
That's what it,
Well, we want to, because I can't vote on, right now you're asking me, do I want this or this? You're not saying, then I don't want to have to make a motion to go back and change what I just voted yes on, right? I feel like we're doing this a little backwards.
like I said, like, we've had these discussions before and then made the motions, so the motions and the friendlies and the not friendly.
Well, we have to
Don't
know
interfere
which
with
way
our
it's
discussion
going, yeah, so.
Thank you, Randy. Now I understand what you're saying, that makes sense. So what you're saying is that, what I was trying to find out is which policy are we then working on?
Right, that's what I
Exactly.
was
You know,
Right.
Rachel's asking, you can't adopt it if you don't know what the work is
We've
on it.
never done it.
We've never
that
done
way.
it this way.
No.
Like, this is,
All
yeah.
right, I'm learning as I go
Yeah.
here, so help me.
So was the motion to mark it red?
No.
Because we don't want, that's what
No.
we don't want if you're gonna.
Right, no.
No, the motion is to adopt our
Yeah.
policy.
Which
Mark
is-
it as
Or
red.
But then
his
you wanna
motion is
make
to
a
consider.
change.
Do not consider the new one.
Right, they're not to consider the new one. That's-
Okay, fine, yes.
Now we still have the policy
Right.
that we've had for years.
Right, then we'll have the discussion about the policy as it is, right. So, the motion is to consider the existing policy instead of the sample policy. That's his
Who
motion.
seconded that?
Naomi did.
Was it Naomi? Did you second that?
I thought she did.
I don't know, it just doesn't feel like how we've done it.
I feel like the way it was done in the past, if I may, is that they would say, we wanna keep our current district policy with the following changes, and then
Right.
this change, and before any votes are done. Be
Right.
like, we wanna keep our current policy, but I wanna get rid of letter H, because why are we keeping them in a
Right.
binder?
So can we just amend your first motion to like include your changes?
But I think we would do that at the end of the discussion.
Alright.
I don't know why we, I mean,
I'm just looking to add a sentence somewhere, that's all.
Right.
And I
Just say,
purposely put it in the original
Yes,
copy.
do
because
it.
I like
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll proceed with that,
What did you
so,
wanna add?
right, so, and if it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass, so we'll go with,
This
Randy's
will
motion.
probably take a little discussion here.
Yeah, so we'll need to do the vote first.
No,
No, we're
he's
not
gonna,
voting.
he's gonna share it so that we do the whole vote at once. He's doing a
Okay.
friendly amendment right now.
Okay,
friendly amendments aren't a thing. They're- Sorry.
okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
let's all look at BG, under policy procedure, A1. Individual board members, board standing, everything, okay. Okay, what I would like to propose to add to that, and I will pass this out if we need a written copy. If there is a request to review a deleted policy, that review shall be conducted by the policy committee before any board adoption. This was something that happened, I think, in last year.
August 1st,
Oh,
2024.
20, okay. Where deleted policy came back up, the board said, hey, let's bring that deleted policy back, and it was said, wait a second, doesn't this have to go to the policy committee before we? No, and we voted on it and proceeded to bring it back, okay? What I'm saying is, if we're bringing back a policy that's been deleted, then it should go back to the policy committee, not right to the board, because the discussion, it's a new discussion. That's all. That would be what I would propose.
Can you say the,
Yeah, can you read your
yeah, I just need to
sentence
write it
again,
down.
please?
He has copies for everybody.
Would you, yeah.
Can I say something like
It
that?
just makes it easier.
Yeah.
I like to do copies. Oops, sorry.
So rescinding a vote is a parliamentarian rule for a board vote. It has nothing to do with something that came out of policy or learning or any other subcommittee. That's a parliamentary rule for a vote that has occurred, period.
So it could happen again right now.
So
By the full board.
Yeah,
I think that's really the issue at hand is the event in question was the board rescinding an earlier board vote, which is independent of any action taken by the policy committee. So if the board were to delete a policy and then in the future go through the process of readopting it, yes, it would come to this committee, but that wasn't the actual action that was taken. So that particular instance doesn't really bear on this question, this proposed language, and then the proposed language is basically a statement of the procedure that we already follow to adopt new policies. Like there are, I don't have my copy with me, but Robert's rules make specific provision for boards to rescind their earlier actions, which is an entirely different thing than a committee considering a policy that, is either completely new or was at one point a board policy that was then removed.
Now, is there any type of statute on that, or you can just jump back as far as you want, rescind the previous decision?
It's not a statutory matter, this is a question of the procedure that's outlined in here, let me
Yeah,
give you
it's
some time.
35-2, I can read it too, I have it handy. My time.
I don't know if that's the short version or the long version, but it's the
Yeah.
only one in the bin there.
That's the long.
Oh, that's,
That
good
was
read
beefy.
then. You got it? She's holding up.
It's a big section of the index, so please bear with me.
No problem. I'm doing a little homework too. Leah, you're correct, friendly amendment is not a real thing under Robert's rules, I've never been told that before.
We
I just wanna
learned
validate.
that at our board training last year.
Yeah, great.
You have to
Thank
rescind that motion and then
Oh, sorry.
present a new motion.
So while Ben is diligently researching, I have no problem with Randy's statement that he'd like to add to it. I just sort
Yeah.
of agree that it seems as though there's a
Right,
motivation.
right. Robert's rules is kind of like a blanket statement. I think what Randy's trying to go, again, I can't speak for Randy, he's talking about specifically rescinding an actual policy. So if the board wanted to rescind a vote on saying that we made, let's say the school board voted that the sky was green, and we wanted to rescind that policy to the previous,
Yeah, I
Right.
understand what he's saying, thank you. I just, yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that.
That was really.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking at, but I do have a concern with that, which is that we are a recommendatory committee. So we can't bind the board to any action. The board is the only body that can do anything. So, we can't say, hey, board, you can't rescind a vote because the vote is the binding action and the board rescinding the vote is the binding action. We can recommend that the board not do it, but we can't bind the board. We just recommend policies for adoption or not.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I know that this is a really complicated thing and there's a lot that happened here over the last 16 or 18 months about various topics and this very process. I just want to be very careful to supersede Robert's Rules of Order. So if the board votes to delete a policy, the board has the authority to rescind the prior action, not the policy committee. I just want to be crystal clear about that. You can say that it goes back to the policy committee all you want. The board supersedes the policy committee. So there have been times where I've been in the policy committee. I'm used to the tension that can go on in here, right? I've done it for 12 years. My first job as an assistant superintendent was policy with zero training. It was great, loved it. It's so fun because it's so complicated, right? And I love complex problems. Here's the problem. Even if, I've had policy committees gridlocked to the point where I brought a lawyer in and they talked and they still didn't agree. It just gets moved to the board. The board is the body that votes on policies, not you. You're recommending to the policy, to the board. That's all you do as a committee. I just want to make sure you know your role.
Right.
Your role is to recommend to the board. And you can table something and the board chair can still put it on the agenda.
Correct.
Right? So I just want to make sure that we understand the limitations of committees. The goal of a committee is this. The goal of a committee is to become experts on a topic to help the board make a decision. That's your goal. So finance committee, they want to know about the budget. They want to know what lives in the budget. We want them to comb through the budget. I want them to ask complex questions about the budget. Facilities, I want them to know that the roof in this school on the corner boards are particle board and they weren't wrapped. And that's why they're rotting away on these two walls right here. Because the first thing I did my first day was ask, why do they put particle board on the end of a building? And what are we going to do about it? Right? So, poor Brian Race, he's like, oh my goodness, it's day one. But I'm just saying, like, I want the facilities people to know the facilities. I want them to know about the septic at the high school. I want them to know that our NEASC accreditation is at risk because of the high school. Right? I want them to know those things and bring those forward. I want you to know what the laws are for the policies to bring them forward, but there are times when this group could gridlock. So Randy, I'm not saying that there's a problem with what you're saying, except that it might, I don't know if it oversteps the organic, it might be a situation where you guys adopted what you're saying right now and send it to the board, but it may not be viable within Robert's rules and or the process that's legally set forward for the board. I don't know the answer, I'm just saying I'm curious, right? I can't say that I know for sure, but if you read Robert's rules clearly, it says, a member who moves to rescind the prior action, which requires a 2/3 vote if no prior notice of the intent to rescind was given. So in other words, if it wasn't on the agenda, if notice of the intent to rescind was provided in the call for the meeting or at the previous meeting, then a simple majority vote is sufficient.
Right.
So it's just important to be careful not to set up a situation where there's a conflict between policy and the rules that the board follows. And Randy, I know you know a lot about this, so I'm asking you, like, what do you think about that? I'm open.
Has it, when I put it there, look at one again. Individual board members, board standing advisory committee, superintendent, interested persons may submit policy suggestions and concerns to the chair, who will forward it to the policy committee.
Yep.
That's where that's the one I follow. What do you do with what do you do when there is a policy concern or question or perhaps a change?
I have an idea.
You send it to the policy committee.
Yeah.
Well, this is also, someone has suggested to bring it back. That's a change which should go to the policy committee. I just, again, bringing this up, went through this because it was brought up to me as a concern. So I'm looking to getting the wording in there to address that concern.
Thank you, I have an idea, but I want to
That's
hear what
fine.
other people have to say. Yeah, that was really helpful.
Rachel?
So I think we're still sort of stuck on the procedural intricacies of this situation, because the vote that was made last August was not regarding policy. It was regarding a vote about a policy. So by rescinding the vote, the policy got sort of put back. So I think, again, I don't disagree that a policy should come back, because clearly people had problems with it, because I can tell where this is gonna go.
Same thing
But-
happened all over again.
But
Please no.
Huh?
I'll bring
Please no.
extra snacks, but
Oh, good.
I still don't feel like we all are on the same page about the procedural details. So, that was a statement, I guess, not a question.
I think that number one covers what you're saying, Randy, because it is, any of these people may submit policy suggestions or concerns to the board. So if there's a review to request to review a deleted policy, wouldn't that be considered submitting policy suggestions and concerns? And that gets forwarded to the policy committee. I don't think that this language is necessary. It's redundant.
Rachel?
So hypothetically, I'm not saying that this is where I'd like to go, but all you would have to do is say, I would like to bring that policy back to review, because that's already stated in number one. You don't need another sentence to do that.
Randy, I was thinking along similar lines. Let me throw out my idea. If there's a request to review a deleted policy, that review shall be conducted by the policy committee. So in other words, if somebody on the board or in the community, or even me or an administrator or somebody says, hey, we have a question about a policy that was deleted, could you review it again? That would go to the policy committee. Would it make sense to clarify after the sentence that you wanted to add, saying, I had it for a minute, something about the board, there's gotta be some acknowledgement that the board rescinding their previous action is a board level decision. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there has to, I can't, as your superintendent, sit here and not advise you that superseding that would be a good idea. It's just not a good idea. But there might be a way, but I get the point that we have a number of policies that, and I'm just going to put the white elephant in the room, about topics such as books, bathrooms, and other items that people are not happy with and some people are happy with. If I'm not having a problem as the superintendent with those items, I want to talk about reading and math and the fact that we have hundreds of kids that don't have enough food. I want to talk about the real problems that face our school district, right? I am not getting emails, complaints, and phone calls from anyone about any of those topics. I'm getting phone calls about food and kids that can't read. That's what I'm talking to my team about every day. I want you guys focused on those problems, right? So I just want to be careful, like whatever road we're going down here, I'm calling it like I see it, the way I'll be for the rest of the time that you know me, is that if we want to bring a policy up and talk about it, just come see me, we'll talk about it, and we'll figure out what to do. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a different leadership here now. We're in a different zone with the team I have at the central office. And so what I want to do is to just get everyone on the same page There's no topic that can't be discussed. However, I wanna spend our time on 3 things as much as possible, and I'm asking this of you. Number 1, are we helping kids to learn how to read so that they can read to learn? Because we have a lot of kids who can't read. And number 2, are we spending our time making sure that our kids are fed and safe at school, because we have a lot of problems with kids that don't have enough to eat in food insecurity. It's really bad, guys. The high school goes through boxes of food a week, and it's not snacks, right? So I'm just telling you that I care about all of these things deeply, and I'm happy to have a conversation about any topic. I'm not afraid of any topic, but I also want to be clear that the purpose of this of the policy committee is to set the policies, and what I want is for you to feel comfortable talking about the policies that we need to talk about and making a cautious decision as to what we're going to spend our limited time and resources on. What are our goals this year? Right, so I'm just calling it out so that I can help you. I want to help you with these things. However, bathrooms and books in the libraries are not my problems right now. Food, learning how to read, and learning how to do math are big problems. And frankly, that high school facility is a major problem. It really is. I just got a letter from the EASP a week ago. We are looking at problems with our accreditation because of the condition of the high school. I need you to help me fix that. I want to help you fix that, right, for the kids. So all I'm saying is that if we want to open the door to have a conversation about a policy that isn't the rotation or that's been voted on or deleted, let's just do it. Let's just do what we need to do to get things done. Do you know what I'm saying? But what I want to be clear about is that the more time I spend on those things, the less time I'm spending on the things that I'm worried about for your kids. So I just want you to know what I'm worried about so that we're framing the work for the year in every conversation we have. Reading, math, and food. Well, in the facility, right? I mean, there's 6 other problems, but I'm just picking the big 4 because I gotta like put everything in buckets and take them one at a time. Yeah.
What's the motion as it stands right now?
I think it was.
I don't even think, motion?
No,
You
there's
didn't,
no
he didn't make
motion.
he hadn't made a motion.
No, I just
We were
brought
just
it
still
up.
discussing.
Well,
The
we
original
can't be
motion was to
talking if
adopt
there's
our
no
current
vote.
policy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would like to move that to a vote.
Okay.
Can I make one suggestion?
Yeah.
It's up to you guys, but just on letter H, it says up, I know this is like minuscule compared to what you were just talking about, but it refers to keeping a binder, and I just don't know if in 2025 a paper binder of these where they're on the internet.
Which
is-
one?
H.
It's now.
Well, even if it's electronic, I guess electronic binder, but yeah.
I just don't, I mean, it's up to you guys, I just don't know
Does
what
it
the.
say binder?
Well, it says manual, so,
Manual,
Right.
sorry.
Right.
Manual
Oh,
to
we'll
be
be saying
supervised.
and.
Oh, the policy manual online covers the manual. Thank you, though,
I
that it
just-
does make me feel like a binder.
I see,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, it says maintained in the superintendent's office, I assume that meant a physical copy, but maybe it doesn't.
Is there a physical copy of
Well,
the
There
Steve
should be.
always, Steve always had binders, I just don't know if that's the thing that matters in 2025, that's all I meant.
An up-to-date
I think-
digital policy manual?
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe that
I
would
don't think
I-
we need to be specific, just an
General.
up-to-date manual.
be. Or does it say,
Thank you, Naomi. I
should it
agree.
say
Yeah,
maintained
that's fine.
by the superintendent's office is maybe what it was intended to say?
Oh, yeah.
Which changes the entire meaning.
Wait, sorry, I missed the first part.
If you change the word in to by, then it means more like we're responsible for it, but it's not a paper.
Ooh, I like that one, yeah.
It doesn't have to be physical.
Oh, I see what she's saying. She wants to change the word into by, so.
So that just
to say-
means it's
right.
maintained by the superintendent's office.
Right, so that means you can have it on a computer, laptop, anything,
Yes.
not physically in the superintendent's office.
That makes
I'm not gonna say the words friendly amendment. I'm going to say, do I hear, are you making a she can't make a motion.
Right, she can't make a motion
Would someone like to make a motion?
on that one
Do we have to make a
particular.
motion to change a word? Is
No.
that,
No, yeah.
so?
I'm okay, but
No.
I'm.
Well, it was your motion to mark as read, do you wanna just amend your own motion to, we don't even have a second for it yet,
Right,
so.
yeah.
Leah said she wanted to move the motion.
I wanted to move the motion.
Okay.
I think maybe someone over there made the motion. I don't know.
Before we go, I did have one other thing I wanted to talk about on paragraph E, what's that? Where it talks about approved policies become effective immediately. Should we also have approved and deleted policies become effective immediately? Because there's nothing that talks about what happens when the committee board says we're gonna delete a policy. you know, it seems kind of silly, but you still wanna,
So maybe you
Yeah.
should just say policy changes.
right, or policy changes, yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, because there's nothing that says, well, okay, the board voted to delete it, but it doesn't say when that action would be taken.
Well, they're deleted, so they don't exist.
Unless there's a specification to delete on such and such date.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I guess we could add that wording.
That's an
Right,
interesting idea.
exactly.
Like in the future, Ben? Like if you had a policy
that's
to
what
delete
the-
it in the future?
That's the
or-
rest of
That's
B.
what the provision is for.
Right, the
I don't know-
provision is for-
I don't know what circumstances would require someone to say, we want to enact this policy, but not yet. But yeah, they probably exist, and that's probably why that language is there.
I've never seen
Or
that
if it
before.
says that something has to be done by January 1st or December 31st, you know, if you knew about that beforehand, I guess you could. To your point, I doubt you'd have any proactive measures on that.
We didn't do it last year, that's for sure.
So there are two changes that are that were discussed. One was calling it, how did you say it, policies, how did,
Policy
Naomi, what did you
updates
say?
or something like
Policy
that.
changes.
Policy
become
changes.
effective.
Yep. Yeah, policy.
Become effective, and then the second one was to change, Karen's point of
The word
update
in,
policy manual will be maintained by
instead
instead
of
of
in.
in. Okay, I just gotta be technical about this. Somebody, would you please make a motion for those two changes and second it?
I make a motion to,
Okay, ask.
mark as reviewed with two updates as discussed, including changing letter E to policy changes instead of approved policy, and changing the word in to by in letter H.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
The longest motion.
All those in favor?
All those in favor
All
of
those
those
in
two
favor?
changes? Thank you.
All opposed?
I'm Karen's.
And abstentions? 7-0.
Thank you.
We don't have. I'm gonna have.
And then now we have Leah move the motion for the whole policy.
No, that was just.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it. Okay, so next action item is policy BIA, new board member orientation.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on, I'm still writing a couple of notes here.
The BIA thing I'm finding in Bangor.
I don't think there are any changes between the sample and our.
I didn't see any either. I thought ours looked good.
Make a
I read
motion.
through this and I thought, wow, I wish that my board member orientation had actually been like this.
I never had a board, new member, board or anything.
Both times I've been on the board, I never had a new one.
I will say that this policy was in effect when I joined the board, and I'm in it, so.
Exactly, so, it's, yeah. So, is
I
there
just, wow.
any discussion, changes, preference on which policy we adopt?
I move we mark our current policy as read.
Yes,
Second.
second.
A second? Okay, all in favor?
I'm sorry, who did that?
No, I meant, or
Yeah,
Rachel,
Naomi.
they can play paper, rock, scissors, or whatever.
Naomi, it's an A, Naomi. Not mine, it's an
Nay. Yeah, I'm gonna be butchering everyone's names here, so, okay. So, all right, we'll take a vote for that, all in favor? All
I
opposed?
thought we did do that.
Yeah, that already passed 7-0, okay,
Just Ben and Amy.
okay.
I will say though, from my personal experience as well, like, it would have been super cool.
Yeah.
You know, with all of the changeover that was happening this summer,
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we met for an hour, we went over a lot of things, but this is a lot more
Yeah.
specific, and
I
I
mean,
agree with that.
even things, like basic things like, you know, especially at the central office, where the meeting takes place and how to get there. And, you know, just simple things, I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's just like,
But
nothing.
as we move forward, literally days after people are elected, they need to come in and sit down
Yeah.
and talk with me,
Yeah.
Karen, really truly Karen, Karen Overlock.
Yeah.
Because she'll give them information too, I think
Yeah.
I should work with her. So it's been a lot of change, but I agree, thank you.
Yeah.
And we did create a digital manual that I think I've shared it with some of you, I
You did, you
shared,
told me.
yeah, the digital manual really helps because you don't have to go digging through the manual.
Yeah.
The policy manual, so you can just click on it and see where they are, and I can send you a copy, Rachel, to look at too. I'll send it to the whole board, I want feedback on it.
Yeah.
I'd rather prepare for that proactively than reactively,
Mhm.
so whatever we wanna put in that digital manual, we can, I believe that, trying to think of her name, one of the board members gave me quite a bit of feedback about that, and I did incorporate all of that into the digital manual. It's all in there, so it's a work in progress.
Okay, so for these, because again, it's been a minute since I've been on this board. The other items we tackle if we have time, or do we still go through those on?
I have to ask Ben, I'm new to this committee
We try to,
myself.
we try to
We
get
try to
through
get them
everything.
all? Okay, we've got about 20 minutes, so we should be fine. Okay, so other items, policy BCB, board member conflict of interest.
Before we start, I have a question about this one. I noticed that the samples we got are dated 2021, which are the samples we had last time we took this up. I think it was John Woodson, did they say anything to you about why they didn't provide something dated more recently?
Karen grabbed these from the NS,
Okay.
And this,
the MSBA.
Oh, this is a.
This is the Drummond Woodson one, I don't know.
All right.
I didn't ask, I
So
just had Karen load it in for you.
These two were ones that, we started to work on these at the very end of last year, and we heard that Drummond Woodson was working on re-examining them and contemplating changes. So I was under the impression that they would have distributed us something more recent. Would I be breaking some horrible confidence if I gave out the ones that Steve sent to me that are 2025 dated?
Not at all, I think that if that's the case, if we got the wrong ones loaded in there, we should just bring this back up at the next meeting and table them.
Okay, so
Because
I
we
don't
need
know
to
if
do
these
the right
are,
work,
I don't know if these are official
Yeah, prefer it
updates or
as
not.
Yeah, I think that we should,
It was valid 21 to 24.
Right.
I believe that was all put into COVID.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was it. So how it sunset, or if it never came back between 21 and 24, I think that's what Drummond was. I think that's what they were going to be looking into.
Okay.
I think the opinion was all of that's kind of gone now, nepotism is kind of a dead thing. But I don't know if they made any updates or if there's anything official on that. There were, if you look at the statute 1002, A, B, C, D,
Right.
is referenced in here. You can see parts have been deleted. So whether whole paragraphs, subparagraphs are deleted, or if it was just part and put back in, I go to the legislative website, and things were not put back in. So I don't know if it's not been updated or what. So it would be a good idea.
to run it by Kathleen,
No.
Yeah.
find out what's going on.
So is your motion to table it until?
yes.
Given that, yes, I move that we table this until our next meeting to.
Is it both of the policies, both the next two?
A and
Yes,
B.
BCB and BCC, we'll just do them. I move that we do both of them, table two.
Table both of them?
Yeah.
Second,
Okay.
Alright. And
Any
I'll
other
work on
further
the,
discussion? All in favor?
for those ones, I'll work on the deleted and bold, so you see what that looks like. And I'll send that to you in advance for feedback, because I think that's gonna be important for these meetings. This is way harder for me to do this way. Like, it's way clearer. When you see it, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, that was so much easier. I think, but if not, let
I
me know.
think so, because like what I do is on my desktop computer, because we still have a desktop computer in my house. I have one page open, that's the sample, and another page, that's the current one, and I'm like just trying to scan back and forth, and I mean,
It does all that work for you. You don't even have to, it's so easy. Alright.
Good. Oh, great.
One other item of business. If we go to the district website, and it might have been changed since yesterday, but the website still shows the policy committee as last year's committee.
Oh,
You were
I'll have it
not-
updated.
you were changed on it, Tom.
I was,
You were
okay.
changed
That
on
was
it,
supposed
so
to
I
have
would,
been, that was
but
supposed to have been updated.
Rick was not on it, and I think
there's Tim,
Nicole
either it's
was.
Timothy.
Yeah, Nicole was,
Ian,
yeah.
can you look at that?
I
Timothy.
and I didn't look at the other committees.
had a hard time hearing
The policy committee needs to be updated to reflect the current members on the school district website.
Yeah, Karen was gonna be getting those rosters and doing those changes. I don't know if she got those rosters, but as soon as we get them, we can make those changes.
Okay.
Yeah, it has policy, it has Naomi, Randy, it has Tim McLaughlin,
I believe the bigger charge was removing past
Leah,
members.
Ben,
Yeah.
They're on here.
Yes,
But Timothy didn't get a policy packet. So
No,
we
I
need to make,
got the policy packet, I didn't get
the board packet, pardon me. Okay, so, no, he's not on the list.
Which I haven't passed, but
Well,
I
you're
didn't
not-
see it this last one.
You're
That's
not
the
on
first
the
sign of
email
things
list?
going south, Tim.
And you have my cell number, so text me next time, because I'll get it for you, okay?
Appreciate it.
Happy to help you.
Can I have a really picky question?
Yeah.
Can we get the version of minutes that are hole punched? Doesn't one of the printers at the central office have hole punch? As an
Sure,
option?
I'll mention it to Karen.
Yeah.
Is that how they used
I
to be,
don't know.
Naomi?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I won't have to do my own floppy.
Yeah, the
Every time I
the
hit the
I mean, I
brakes in the
know.
car.
yeah, the floppy stack,
It's a whole
yeah.
lot easier to get them hole punched.
Was there anything else anyone else wanted to talk
No,
about?
thanks for letting me know about that. We've been working on the websites hard. And I do want to acknowledge that Ian has been updating the staff like crazy, all the teacher changes and everything, so we'll get this squared away in the next day or so.
All right, so,
yeah, it looks like an old list was used for the last board meeting.
I've got the time of
An old list was used for the last
6:47
board
and we're
meeting.
adjourned.
Because there had errors.
All right, thank you.